Hi, yes, it's real estate time again, but this time we're going to take a look at commercial real estate versus residential real estate and actually utilizing those assets as your actual office. Is it better to buy a house and then convert it into an office, or is it better to buy commercial real estate? Well, obviously, it depends upon your circumstances, where you are. Even in Sydney here, I'm just going to be talking about Sydney, and in particular, I'm going to be talking about my suburb of Baulkham Hills / Castle Hill area, and we're going to compare the cheapest house I can find that could be converted into that's suitable to be converted into an office. Although technically you could actually convert any house into an office, but there's zoning requirements and stuff like that. It depends on what type of business you're doing. But for, say, something like mine, where I don't have clientele coming and going and stuff, and the only person that comes and goes is my courier, right? And so pretty much I could buy a house and actually convert it into a lab. And a lot of people have asked, is it actually cheaper to do that than to buy commercial real estate office that I'm in here at the moment? I've got 50 square meters of office space here before. I've rented 100 square meters of office space before for about $40,000 a year, which is, quite a lot of money. That was 100 square meters. This 50 square meter one, if I was to rent this, then it'd cost, $25,000 maybe, something like that, and could be $28,000 with outgoings or something. So, it's maybe up to 30 depending on the type of building, or it could be cheaper depending on which part of the business park you're in. But let's actually look at the cheapest house I can find in my suburb and then compare it with commercial real estate. So here we go. This is the cheapest house. It's auction guide. It's coming up for auction. Auction guide is $1.1 million, right? This is by far the cheapest house you can buy in this suburb. The average price for this suburb is probably averaging about 1.6, maybe pushing 1.7 million in my suburb, Baulkham Hills. So this one actually is specifically marketed as suitable for kind of business type use. Although I don't know about the zoning, the council zoning and things like that. But let me actually show you this. Okay, so this is what $1.1 million buys. The next cheapest house in Baulkham Hills here would probably be $1.5 million for an absolute dump, right? There's a reason this one is cheap, and I'll show you. So here it is. It almost looks like a villa kind of thing, but it is on its own block of land. It's 350 square meters, and, it's a very typical, little small house and stuff like that. Whether or not this is actually suitable, I could certainly use something like this. I could convert this into a lab, no worries whatsoever. You can convert it into an office. It's got a nice sort of modern bathroom there, and, it's all right. You can convert this. Of course, a kitchen's pretty useless in a officey type environment, although, you could use the toaster oven and things like that to bake your PCBs or whatnot. Use the fridge and freezer for thermal experiments and stuff. It's got a reasonable size open plan here. They don't actually tell you the actual size of this dwelling on here, but you can see the land, it takes up most of the land. It's kind of like an odd shape. There's only a tiny little backyard there, tiny little front yard, which you can't do anything. You can do some, outdoor experiments in the backyard or something like that, but it's pretty tiny. Obviously, you convert the garage into it. You'd probably knock out this wall. If I was to buy something like this, I'd knock out probably, the garage walls, the bedroom, all this would be one big open plan area. It depends on your needs, but anyway, so this is 350 square meters. So I'd say that's probably 125 square meters for the house. Something like that would be my guess. It wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be any bigger than that. Okay. So, 317 square meters. Yeah, I reckon that house is barely 120 square meters. 120 is a typical small house with a single garage like that. So I'd say that's what that is. So for 1.1 million bucks, you're talking about 120 square meters, let's say, roughly. So let me show you why this one is particularly $400,000 cheaper than practically any other house in the entire suburb. It's because it's in this little laneway here, tucked behind the shops here, and this is actually this is an old satellite photo. There's actually a new commercial office space that's gone in here, and there's some residential on top, but it's like commercial on the bottom, residential on the bottom. And next door is actually a medical center. This looks like a normal house, but this is actually a medical center here. So if we go in here and we'll show you the laneway, it's like you're at the back of the shops here, okay? You know, there's nice like parklands and playgrounds and stuff nearby, but it's not something, there it is there, right? So it's not something that a family would buy, right? It just isn't. When you're buying in Baulkham Hills, you're buying in the suburbs, the Hills District, this is not what you're after, right? You're better off just buying a townhouse or something, which would be, you know, cheaper than this. And right next door is the medical center. There it is, right? So, you know, you're back in, you can do some dumpster diving though. There you go. I'm not sure you'd get much gear out of that. You know, it's cardboard boxes. It wouldn't be the same. But yeah, you're right next door to a medical center here, okay? So they do actually specifically say in here, perfect for downsizers, couples or young families, but it's a short walk. Due to location and proximity to businesses around, this property has the potential of being used as a small business or private practice site. So you would need, if you're running like a doctor's surgery or something, some sort of medical specialist thing, you would need like council, you know, actual approval to do that. But some, you know, a business like mine, nah, wouldn't need it. So yeah, it's 317 square meters, which is absolute, like the rock bottom tiniest block of land you can get here. Okay. So anyway, so that's, you know, 1.1 million for 317 square meters, but the house is only about 120 square meters. But this place would have gone for about $700,000 to $800,000 just 12 or 24 months ago. So the market's just gone nuts. But anyway, yeah, but that's something I would consider getting, like, you know, something like that where you're not competing against people who want it as a house. So that's why it's, you know, it's cheap in quote marks. Okay. Yeah. So it's actually down here. It's just down around there. And so here's Norwest Business Park is all in here. Okay, so these are all your commercial ones. The Castle Hill Business Zone is you'll get cheaper stuff on this side of the road over here. There's not much for sale at the moment, but I pulled out a few things. So let's have a look. 959,000 for 108 square meters. So that's, you know, that's pretty close to what you would get size-wise, but it's one big open plan like this. So it's much better to use, obviously, you know, if you want to have clients over or something like that. But, you know, it's got a balcony. There you go. You know, you got a view and stuff like that. Okay, and that's a really schmicko building. Okay, that's one of the schmickest buildings in Norwest. It's got concierge service and everything else, okay? So, yeah, there we go. You know, nice big foyer, and it's got meeting rooms and stuff like that, right? Pretty schmick. It's got a cafe down the bottom, right? Really schmicko. And the house is out there somewhere, okay? So that's, you know, that's really schmick. So you're paying under 10,000 a square meter, which, yeah, that sounds about right for at the moment. When I was a boy, it was under 4,000 a square meter. Anyway, that's $8,880 per square meter. So right off the bat, that's cheaper for a similar sort of floor and more usable, depends on what it is. So a lot of people say, oh, residential is cheaper to buy. Nope. In my particular suburb, it's cheaper to buy commercial real estate and use that. But of course you pay strata fees on top of this, whereas the house only has council rates and stuff. You'd probably pay 20 grand a year strata, 15 grand a year, maybe strata fees for that size in that type of building with those facilities and stuff like that. So there's an ongoing cost there, of course, but you know, and we're kind of taking that out of the equation a bit. 79 square meters there for 679,000. So, you know, if you needed, it's got nice floor-to-ceiling windows there. It's subdivided. You got a balcony. You know, you got some views and stuff. There you go. That's a big, like, dual complex. That's a nice 79 square meter office space, right? 679,000. What else we got? This one here. That's in the same building. Okay, it's got 86. It's got 142 square meters for 1.16. So the same price as that house basically gets you 142 square meters. There you go. You get a nice big open plan with big views. I assume that looks about 140 square meters there, although that could be no, it might be slightly bigger than that. But anyway, yep. There you go. Then you've got cafes down the bottom and stuff, and you're right near the new metro train station and things like that. The funky metro stuff. You've even got a wanky fountain out the front. So that one's probably, that could be the bigger one. That could be the 311 square meters or 169, 1.4 million. But as you can see, right, per square meter, it's going to be cheaper. So that house, 1.1 million, say it's 120 square meters, you're looking at 9,100 per square meter. But of course you own the land, and if you're looking at the land, 1.1 million, get the confuser out here, what was it, 315 square meters? Yeah, it's 3,500 a square meter. So if you count the actual land use, but when you're running a business, right, all you care about is like the internal space, really. You know, yeah, you can go sit out in your garden, or whatever. You know, you can go do some drop tests or fire tests outside or something. But, you know, anyway, selling fast. Not in the current climate. 795,000 for 93 square meters. Once again, just, you know, a nice big open plan office. Like, you know, this is typical for all of Norwest Business Park. This is what the offices are, right? And in fact, that's the same building. Here's another building, 600,000 for 70 square meters. This is, you know, a relatively new building, pretty schmick foyer and everything. You know, it's got cafe on site and all that sort of stuff. But that's kind of like your internal. Don't think that even has an external window, does it? Might not. No, otherwise they'd show it. No, just like here. Just like my lab here, no external window. There you go. That one for 600,000 at 73 square meters. That one's a Wall of Fame. Good on you, Wall of Famers. You too can be on the positivity, or you too can get your positivity award and star of the month, the 150 plus club. What are you going to make 150 sales? The 100 club. Length of service. How long have you been enslaved in this business? There you go. You know, it's got a nice view. That's the communal meeting room. Is it? Yeah, these often, a lot of these buildings will have these meeting rooms. You just book it or whatever. There's usually like a little book out the front, and you can just book a meeting room. If you've got clients over, you can have a small office and then appear bigger by, you know, inviting your important clients into the meeting room here, right? So that's a pretty nice schmick foyer, some Aboriginal art there in the hallways and stuff. So, you know, that's a pretty nice building. Once again, that's cheaper per square meter than the house. Let's look over here. This one actually popped up. This is on the other side of Windsor Road, the other side of Baulkham Hills. This one popped up on another commercial site, but it's 1.25 million. And it looks like a townhouse kind of thing. But yeah, it's not making any mention of commercial there. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, but this showed up on the commercial website. Yeah, nah. So here's one in Norwest Business Park again. It's 153 square meters like this for just over $1 million. So this is cheaper than the house, and you get 153 square meters of office space in this building. So this one seems to be like half-half. Is there like a window between them? And you can have this as like a lab area. This one's pretty good, actually. I like the layout of this. Like, you can have this as like, it's got a concrete floor. I think they've ripped up the carpets. It's not a normal ceiling in there, but you could have that as like a workshop-y type space, and then you've got your more traditional office space in there. So there you go. And they don't show you many photos, but that is 100. That's cheaper than the house, and that's 150 square meters. That is, trust me, that is way bigger than that house we looked at. So there you go. So yes, it is actually cheaper to buy commercial real estate at the moment than to get the cheapest house possible. In all the suburb here, you get a fruit tree in the front yard. Look at that. It's a lemon tree, is it? Nice. Yeah, it's cheaper, but then you have that ongoing cost. You might have, you know, 10,000 a year, something like that, for your strata fees. Whereas a house like this, you'll only pay council rates. That might be one this small, 1,500 a year, and then you've got water rates and, you know, other things that you'll pay. But it's, you know, this would be 5 times, to maintain a house like this would probably be 1/5 the cost of a commercial office building. But then you don't get the advantage of being in a nice commercial office building. Like, so if I was to get something like this and convert it into an office, not only is it super expensive, but the interest on this is not, it's not a huge amount, but still, it's 1.1 million is still a lot of coin, right? Even for Sydney. And then I would like ride from home to here, and then I'd be in here all alone, and then I'd ride back home. And at least when I'm in a commercial office building, at least I see people, I interact with people, I can go outside, I can walk around and stuff outside, I can go to the shopping center, I can do other stuff, and it's just, you got to feel like you're out and about, whereas this would feel like just an extension to my current home. So anyway, but yeah, this is highly dependent. It could be totally different in another part of Sydney. For example, you go further out west, and yeah, you can get a house for maybe 600,000, like a real dumpy, 1960s fibro place for like 600,000 out west or something like that. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do a video on trying to find Sydney's cheapest house. That'd be interesting to see what you get for the cheapest thing in Sydney. But yeah, anyway, that's comparing commercial real estate. It's like, for the same price, you can actually get more versatile office space. Like, you would have to renovate this. You'd have to completely renovate it to make it. It depends on your needs, but you couldn't immediately, like, I couldn't immediately, well, I could, but you wouldn't want to. Before you moved into here, before you moved your lab in, you'd want to knock out, convert the garage and maybe make it all into one big space. Make it feel more office-like, make it feel more commercial. My light just turned off. My battery failed. There you go. I guess I should call it quits. So there you go. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. But yeah, the equation's changed for using a house in like just the last 12 months. Like exploded. Like, houses have gone up in this suburb like 40% in the last year. Like in the last 12 months. So yeah, it's just nuts. But that's $1.1 million buys you. That is by far the cheapest house. So I guarantee you can't buy one for under 1.4 anywhere else in the suburb, unless it'd have to be a complete derelict bomb for 1 point. Like the land value. If you got a 600 square meter thing, your land value would be 1.2 million, let alone the house, right? So yeah, there you go. Anyway, hope you liked it. If you did, thumbs up. Catch you next time.